I know we all heard over the weekend the big news. Tom Thibodeau lost his job. This was kind of interesting because it came on the heels of a 20-point victory over the LA Lakers. I mean, you beat a team by 20. You assume you still would have your job.
That's what I would assume.
But that man is out of here, and right now your acting coach in place is Flip Saunders' son. Who supposedly is a up and coming coach. People are very excited about him, and then you still have your original GM there. What are your thoughts on this firing? With all these rumors kind of floating around about Fred Hoiberg maybe coming in and being the coach, Chauncey Billups maybe coming in and being the general manager. How do you feel about that, Jason? And then we'll go to Eugene.
I think it was a surprise to me too. It was kind of a slap in the face. I feel bad for Tom. I thought he was doing a good job after Jimmy Butler got out of there. I don't think it was a coaching situation. I think it's actually a player situation that's actually going around that organization. I can't really pinpoint it, but they might need a new coaching staff between coach and GM. But I think what's his name?
Hoiberg?
No, the player.
Oh, Jimmy Butler?
Not Jimmy Butler. The one that the Stone Timberwolves. Carl
Anthony Towns.
Yeah,
Carl Anthony.
I think he has to. I think there's a mindset thing going on in there with him where if he gets on the right track again. I mean, listen, he did drop 28 points over the weekend. It's a good performance, but I just don't see that being consistent coming from him. Early on the season, they were questioning, saying he had some things going on, maybe in his personal life. But I think those players need to come. I think they need to gel together. I don't know if that's going to be a point guard coming in and bringing them together. I don't know if that's going to be Chauncey Billups as the GM. I don't know if that's going to be their new coach. But they need something to bring them together and make them, family, so they could at least get to the postseason.
I agree. Eugene, what are your feelings on this Thibs firing?
Well, I think it's a bad move. I'm not a big fan of Fred Hoiberg after the job that he did with the Chicago Bulls.
I agree. I agree on that.
He had 3 seasons with them, and he had a really nice young nucleus. I really like Zach LaVine, and I really like that kid from Arkansas. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. But they had a really nice young squad, and I really thought they could have done something with that team, but he could never get those guys to gel. So it's really interesting to me. I like the Chauncey Billups potential pickup. I think that's a really good pickup for as a general manager of that team. I think if they make that move, that's a great move for the organization, given that Chauncey did spend some time with the Timberwolves before he ended up coming to Detroit Pistons. So I think that's a great pickup. They're actually seriously about taking him on.
I actually, at first I was kind of wondering, it's like, Chauncey wants to be a general manager, and I'm not saying he can't do it, but I had to really think back, and I'm like, Chauncey would actually be a great guy because he always, in Detroit's locker room, was a glue guy. Everybody loves him. Right. He's like a politician, but he's not a shady politician. Like, he's just a cool, down-to-earth dude, supports the young guys. You never hear anybody say anything bad about him. I think that he would be great to stabilize your young roster there. And he probably has a pretty good eye for genuine talent to bring in because, again, you can have all the talent in the world, but you got to have genuine, real people, and your chemistry has to click. Your chemistry doesn't click, then you're talking about what you were saying earlier with Coutinho or Cat.
Yep.
The fact that for whatever reason he's not consistent every night. There's a particular reason for that.
Yeah,
so you got to figure out how to hit certain buttons, and I think Chauncey would be good at that. I do think, in my opinion, based upon Adrian Wojnarowski's reporting, Hoiberg is probably the guy that's probably most likely going to be the coach because it seems like that the timing to fire Thibs was really odd to everyone. And from what we're understanding, UCLA was hot on the trail, or is hot on the trail for Fred Hoiberg. All right, and even to the point where they've made some moves around there to make space for him. And so I kind of feel like the Wolves wanted to make a quick move so they can get in the mix. And so I don't really know, how that's going to pan out. But I will admit, personally, I am not a Hoiberg fan because I feel like I've seen him in what he can do with a young team, and it didn't really pan out so well. In Chicago. Another name that's kind of come up in the mix is Monty Williams. He's a journeyman, but he's also a very good coach from what I understand. So we have to kind of wait to to see what Scott Layton decides to do, or what the franchise decides to do. Your boy Derrick Rose spoke highly of Thibodeau. He said that number one, Thibs believed in him when nobody else would, and the fact that he was out of the league and Thibs kept talking to him. And so the debate came up today, and the question was asked to him: can you still be effective, like you're playing now at this high level with Thibodeau being gone? And his response to all the haters was, kill yourself. So I don't know. I don't know what you think about that, but I think that he's gonna probably keep playing at this high level, which actually has been very impressive for him. And I think he's on a minute restriction. Go ahead.
Well, and kudos to Derrick Rose too for protecting his coach. I mean, Thibs, took a chance on him, and when Derrick Rose got cut by the Utah Jazz, nobody thought he was actually going to be back in the league, and this guy kept working, he worked his ass off to get back into into elite shape, and to do whatever he possibly could to get back on the court. In that game where he scored 50, after everything he's been through, you see the emotion on his face. After he was like, man, I worked my ass off to get here, and he did. Right now, I believe Derrick Rose is number 3 in the West, in All-Star voting by the fans. So I'm actually a lot of people don't feel like he deserves to be there, but I feel like, if he actually gets, gets voted on by the fans to play in the All-Star game, I think it's a good look. I mean, that's a great storyline. Especially for all those underdogs or all those people who experience adversity and come back after a major injury like he did, and be able to find success and still be able to compete at a very high level. And it says a lot about the player.
Oh, Derrick's playing lights out.
Yeah,
he's playing. Yeah, he's playing lights out, and you can't say anything about him being named to anybody's All-Star team. I mean, before the injury, nobody would even think twice about saying anything about, oh, he's on the All-Star team. So I have nothing bad, and I'm very impressed with what he's been able to do, and to come back and do what he's done through adversity. I think I've talked about this once before. I was very impressed with the way that he's changed his game. I remember hearing him in an interview recently saying that he adjusted his game based upon what he was looking at on tape. He said he was doing too much. When you go into the hole, shoot a layup, you ain't got a double pump and two-hand slam it. You know what I mean? It's still 2 points. You know what I mean? So he was talking about specific instances where he hurt himself. He's like, I was just doing too much. So he's like, he learns how to do less with more, and he's still amazing without all the extra athleticism. And I said when he first started getting hurt, like I was hoping he could maybe go look at some tape of like a Chauncey Billups or a John Stockton or something, where they're not the most athletic people in the world, but they can still command the offense, they can run the offense, and they can still be effective, hit open shots and all that. And I feel like that's what his game has to go to. And then he can use athleticism in spurts when it's necessary, but not all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I remember thinking when he was on the Bulls, and I remember.
Yeah, good point. Excellent point.
Go ahead, Jason.
I remember when he was on the Bulls and he was, when he first got that injury and the way he came down to the ankle, I just remember thinking, dang, I hope he comes back. And then it was just injury after injury. So I'm really proud of him for what he's doing right now. I think he needs his athleticism to be who he is right now and to prove to himself that he can still play the way he wants to play. But yeah, I agree with you that he's going to have to dial it back a little bit, and it looks like he has already dialed it back. I hope he continues to improve his shot, because that's gonna allow him to be in the league a lot longer, probably the way he wanted to. And I'm just hoping that he's able to retire the way he wants to retire and not off of a injury. But if he continues to do this for this season and next season, the next season after that, big thumbs up to Derrick Rose. Big thumbs up.
Yeah.